This session we're going to be looking at simple fractions. So we must be able to recognise what fraction of a shape has been shaded, be able to shade a given simple fraction of a shape, and then add or subtract two simple fractions with the same denominator. Some of us will be able to add fractions or subtract fractions from 1/2, and then also could be able to solve simple word problems involving fractions. So if we have a shape and we want to split it into fractions, each part or division of the shape must be the same size. So if I have a look at this star, I've now split it so that every section is the same size. So I've got 10 sections. Okay, when we have a fraction, we have a top number, which is called the numerator, and then we have the bottom number, which is called the denominator. Okay, the denominator tells us how many parts we've split our shape into. So in this case, we've got 10 parts in total. Okay, if I shaded in just one of those sections, I'll have shaded in 1/10. If I shade in two sections, I would have 2/10, okay, which is the same as 1/5. Because if I have a look at this shape here that's shaded in, I've got 5 shapes that look exactly the same as this. Okay, so 2/10 is the same as 1/5. Okay, for each of these diagrams, you're going to write down what the fraction is that has been shaded. So for the first one, we need to think how many sections has the shape been split up into. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So my denominator is going to be 4. And then how many have been shaded in? It's 1. So that's going to be 1/4. Okay, so go through and answer these questions. Okay, these ones are relatively simple. So if I just have a look at K, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've split it up into 8 parts and 4 of them have been shaded. This is the same as saying 1/2, because if I just split it here, this rectangle is the same as this bottom one, and I've got 1/2 shaded in. Okay, for this next question you need to draw diagrams similar to question 1 to show these fractions. So the easiest ones tend to be squares and rectangles, and you want to split it into however many parts the denominator tells you, and then shade in the numerator. So for example, the first one is 3/4. So if I have my square, I can split it into 4 sections in any way, so long as all the sections are the same size. So I can either do it like this, or I can split it in half and then in half again. Okay, but I need 3 of them shaded in. Okay, for these next questions we need to know how to add and subtract fractions. So if I imagine this first one here, I've got 1/4 plus 2/4. So again, I've got my diagram and I've split it into quarters. I've got 1/4 and now I need to add on 2/4. So in total, I've got 3/4 shaded in. So for this one we've got 3/4 and I want to take away 1/4. So looking back at my diagram, we've got 3/4 already shaded in. If I take away 1/4, I still have 2/4 shaded in. Okay, which is the same as 1/2. Okay, so here are the answers. Okay, for these questions you're going to draw a diagram to show the fraction that they've given you, and then on the same diagram you're going to show that 2 fractions are the same. Okay, then you've got a couple of questions at the end to answer. Okay, here are some more questions, similar to what we've done earlier. And then the next set of homework questions